Agree.
All right, next up, we're going to do something similar to what we did the other week. We drafted the 2018 draft, or redrafted it, picked a new top 10 of what we think it should be based off a bit of hindsight now that we've seen the first few years of their careers and we have a better glimpse of what their potential is going to be. We're going to be doing the same thing for the 2017 one. Fair to say this one's not as stacked as the 2018 Super Draft. Not as much depth, and probably the top five's nowhere near as impressive, and considering they've had an extra year to develop, that's pretty weird. But we're still going to go through our top 10s. There were some tough decisions in there, but I'm going to start with my honourable mentions. So the people who just missed out for me, I actually don't know if you agree with me, because based on potential, he still probably could be in there, but that doesn't help because he's missed this whole year. But I don't have Cam Rayner in there. Very probably controversial. He was the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was going to probably get a lot more mid-time this year, which was probably going to be a lot more impressive in terms of statistically. But just his stats from his first couple seasons at it, he was basically just a forward pocket who didn't have too much impact on the game, but that's just the way he plays. But yeah, the season-ending injury might, unfortunately, when you get a season-ending injury, increases the chances of you getting another one. But touch wood, it's just a one-off thing for him. But yeah, I've left him out controversially. Other guys I'll mention that might be in yours, but not sure. Tom McCartan, he was there or thereabouts for me, but I left him out. Sam Taylor as well. And Nick Caulfield just missed out for me. Obviously, I'm interested to see what your take on the Saints boys from that draft is.
Yeah.
But number 10, the other Saints boy from the draft. I don't know if this is low or high because I think you're a fan of him. I'm not 100% sure, but I brought him into my Supercoach team this week, so I'm not that happy with him. But Hunter Clark, very, very skillful user off the half-back line. So he's my number 10. I probably should get up where these guys went originally, but anyway, you guys can work it out at home. Number 9, I have LDU. This is a lot more of potential than what he's put up so far. He's been very mix and match, not very too many good performances strung together, rarely 4 quarters strung together so far at the start of his career, but he does just show a glimpse here or there. If you watch North Melbourne, he might have a 10-minute period or even just one piece of play where you go, geez, that guy actually has a lot of potential. So that alone is probably making me put him at number 9. Number 8, bit of a bolter, but I just think he's been tested in 2 different roles pretty much since he got drafted to the Melbourne Demons, and I think he's been pretty handy in both of them. Bailey Fritsch, I've chucked him in at number 8. Statistically, he's been very good, had a very good start to his career, both in the halfback and as a bit of a small key forward type role that he's playing in now. So he's my number 8. My number 7 is a man I think is a little bit underrated, and it's Noah Bolter. I think he's a very good backman, pretty good at intercepting it. He's picked up a fair few votes in my Brownlow thing this year, so he's my number 7. Number 6, another guy. Well, he's definitely put up good results so far in his career, but someone who his potential and raw talent's just too exciting to leave out. Jaden Stevenson. Can't really buy pace, can you? And he has it in abundance, also loves to kick a goal, has said that he's keen to get a lot more time in the midfield, which is exciting, someone with that explosive power in there. So he's my number 6. My number 5, he actually might have gone number 5 in the actual thing. Oh, maybe number 3, number 4, I don't know, somewhere around there. But Adam Chera, statistically, he's actually not had the most impressive start to his career, but he's definitely starting to fire this season. I think he's missed a couple games through injury. But yeah, Chera's been very good, and he's got a lot of talent. Looks like he's going to be a good player for many years to come. Number 4, I've gone with Aaron Norton. Very, very good hands. He started in the back line, I think, in his first few games. Not sure if that's true. I think he might have been drafted as a backman. I don't know if he played back line, but we've seen him mainly as a forward, kicking bags, and now he's proving to be a fairly crucial cog in that successful Dogs team. As without him, I don't know if that forward line would be functioning as well. And as we talked about in the last time we drafted a top 10, the key position play is a lot harder to find. So here's my number 4. Number 3, this guy's had a strange start to his career, and it's the Warpedo, James Worpel. He kind of rose to fame so quickly, and he almost hit the level he's been at his whole career like straight away. So he's a tough one to judge. Statistically, he's probably the best player out of this bunch, but that's just because he's been performing at the level he is now for a long time. He's a proven inside midfielder, so I've got him number 3, but I think he divides a lot of opinions, James Worpel, of whether he's actually effective or not. Number 2, I've gone big Oscar Allen. Similar to what I just said about Norton, but on a bigger scale. Very hard to find a good key forward like we talked about with the Kings. And yeah, he looks like he's going to be an absolute gun. He's almost starting to outshine Josh Kennedy and Jack Darling already, which is no mean feat at all. So I think he's a worthy pick at number 2. And then number 1, I was tempted to go Oscar Allen number 1, but I thought, no, I'm not sure about that. So I've gone with someone who I'm pretty confident is going to be a certified gun in our competition for 10 years plus. And it's Andy Bryshaw. Not really surprised that he was a gun. We went to school with him and just got that vibe from him that he was going to be such a hard worker, that he was just always going to be a gun. So not claiming that I knew him on a personal level or anything, but yeah, absolutely killed it last year, killing it this year. He came 3rd in my Fremantle Best and Fairest last year. He's currently there or thereabouts again this year, and he's already started to get tagged in, their 3rd or 4th year, so that's pretty bloody impressive. So yeah, he's my number 1, but interested to hear who you have a number 1, because it wasn't a sitter this time round. So what's your top 10, mate?
Yeah, well, I'll actually touch... Well, first of all, actually, I'll say I haven't got Bailey Fritsch in there because he was a mature age. So, he was 21 when he got drafted, so... or
there you go.
2021, so he was like 2 or 3 years over. So, that's why I haven't got him in there. But,
I should have mentioned that we excluded them. So, I excluded Kelly and Flying Ryan, but I didn't know he was. So, yeah, carry on.
And the rookie draft as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a lot of honourable mentions. This is going to cause a lot of differences between ours. So I'll list off some. So I've also got McCartan in there. I've also got Nick Caulfield in there, who I think finished 4th in our Best and Fairest last year, but has been pretty disappointing this year so far. So he's been edged out. Snags Higgins in there as well. Brian Myers in there as well. He's been pretty good for Geelong, but hasn't made the cut. And I've got 2 big ones that you included in yours, plus one that you include in your top 5 as an honourable mention. So I've actually got, first of all, I've got Jaden Stephenson in as an honourable mention.
Yeah.
I think at the moment he has too many quiet games.
Sure.
And given his sort of stature, I'm not confident he's going to become like an A-plus player. Could be proven wrong. I'm very happy to be proven wrong because I love watching him play. But, given just his sort of, similar to Paddy Dow, the same build, and I'm just not 100% sure. I've actually also got the Warpedo in as an honourable mention. I haven't got him in the top 10. And this goes against my love for the Warpedo, given I spent about 45 minutes to an hour with him on the Cerberus and Black Rock, sort of jumping off the ship with him. Absolutely top ripper bloke. But unfortunately, the reason he was drafted so low in about the 40s was because he was going to have an impact at AFL level, and his potential wasn't, his ceiling wasn't high. He was almost at his potential. Like first of all, he's a great leader, but never going to be a great great disposal user. But you can throw him straight into the midfield. Hence why I had such a strong start. So if we're going to consider like potential over the next sort of 10 years, unfortunately, it doesn't make the cut for me. And also, he's been sort of tried and tested as a tagger this year and sort of hurt, I guess, his stats and all that. But anyway, I'm going to move on to my top 10. So I've got at number 10, I've got someone he barely gets mentioned because he's GWS, but I've got Sam Taylor. Just a quality, fullback, just doesn't get mentioned because he's in the ghost town. Number 9, I've also got LDU. Obviously, same reason as you, just hasn't had the biggest amount of output so far, but I think we've all finally seen what he's going to be able to do, and he's going to, start having those 30 disposal games. And we saw how much of a presence he was in a few minutes in I think it was the North Adelaide game up forward. It just looks like an absolute specimen. So can't wait to see him. One that I don't think you touched on. I've got at number 8, Zach Bailey. I think he's got the traits to become he is a really damaging player right now, but he's got the traits to become, and even more so one. He's lightning quick. He can go through the midfield and already, you think, he's got the attributes to be a solid midfielder. So he's also really versatile. Has played half back and half forward and midfield and wing. He's a very versatile player, and that's the coach's dream, really. So I've got him at 8. At number 7, Noah Bolter. Just freak attributes for someone of a key position, height and build. He's been vital to Richmond's lineup in the last sort of year or two. So him in at 7. At 6, I've got Hunter Clark because he's had some. Well, the thing is, he hasn't really sort of put together a string of awesome games, but he's had a couple of really good ones, and more so a couple of good sort of quarters and moments in games where where the game has sort of shaped itself around him. I don't know if you ever sort of watch him play, but I think last year, there were moments when that the play he was playing in slow motion. Everyone else was, and he just got this uncanny ability to sort of glide through everyone. So he's got Pendlebury written all over him, but unfortunately he hasn't been consistent yet. So he's got the talent, no doubt. So hopefully just some consistency and some more minutes in the midfield, which lots of Saints fans are crying out for because he's one of our best ball users and, our smoothest mover in a team. So I've got him in at number 6. Number 5, I've got Cam Rayner. It's because, he was obviously the number 1 pick. He's got a lot of talent, and this was going to be the year he was going to play a bit more through the midfield. And imagine with Lachie Neale going down, this would have been the perfect opportunity for him to run through there and bust his way through the packs and everything. Unfortunately, he can't. But I think that combination of that attacking, that forward ability and the midfield potential is just too good to put him any lower than that in the list, in the ranking. I saw in his under 18 year, I watched literally one quarter and he got 12 touches and 2 or 3 goals. So it was just too good. So at number 4, I've got Aaron Norton for the Dogs. Like you said, quality key position player, was drafted as sort of a back, versatile, sort of back and forward. He had an awesome start to his career. I think he finished 4th in the Dogs' best and fairest in his first year, and I think it was the game against Richmond where he won it off his own boot, just taking some I think he nearly broke contested mark record or something like that as a teenager. So he's been awesome for them. Hasn't he's sort of stayed around that sort of mark. He's gotten a bit better in areas, but he's still obviously only young. He's no doubt going to be an awesome player. So I've got him in at number 4. Number 3, I've got Adam Chera. I really like Chera as a player. He's a very composed, very smooth-moving midfielder, which, as we talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, the AFL isn't the most sort of skillful sport, but that just gives an opportunity for those that are skillful to shine. So, Chera is definitely one of them, and he's going to be one of the sort of most composed, most prolific ball users in the competition. And he's starting to have those dominant games we've seen this year. I think I was about 3 out of his 4 games this year in Supercoach were 120. So he's going to be an absolute star, and I think he does fly under the radar a little bit, given that the likes of Fife and Bryshaw sort of overshadows him a little bit. And number 3, I've got Oscar Allen. Number 2, I've got Oscar Allen. He's obviously really starting to show how good of a player he is this year. And I know he is a third tall, and he is copying the easiest sort of, he's copying the third defender in a sense every week now. But he's shown enough to show that he will be copying. Well, when he does cop the primary tall defender, he's going to make a meal of some of them. He's going to kick bags, and Bob to stay love him, and I think he loves playing there too. So he's going to be just their king for the next 10 years. And number 1, there was no absolute standout, I think, in this draft. But at the moment, I've got Andy Bryshaw just because I think, it's really a sure bet he's going to be just a quality midfielder in the next sort of 10 years. So yeah, there's just sort of no way he's going to like fail, if that makes sense. There's no way he's going to like start dropping, getting 15, 10 disposal games and getting drops and all that. He's always, I think we've seen that it's just, I think the amount of work he puts in, the amount of running he does. I know the Brayshaws do that sort of 100 by 100 meter thing on like Christmas Day or something, which is just ridiculous. We've seen the amount of work that is, and he's just, he's already a gun, and he's just going to, you can lock him in for like those 250, 300 game players for Freo. So, yeah, I've definitely got him at number one. And like we said, he's already starting to get tagged. So obviously the only down games he has now are the ones he gets tagged in. So obviously the next years to come puts a bit more size on him, sort of learns a bit more about the craft of taggers. He's going to learn how to avoid them, or not to avoid them, but sort of play on whilst they're still there. Yeah, so obviously can't wait to see how he goes. And yeah, I reckon that's probably a fair analysis of the top 10. Obviously, you'd be disagreeing because of how you shaped yours up. But yeah, I guess my apologies to Warpedo if he's listening, given we're best mates. I had to unfortunately leave you out, but yeah, meet up with me for another cliff jumping or Cerberus jumping session. Maybe I can chuck you in there, but unfortunately, that's going to be my top 10.
Yeah, no, fair enough. To be honest, most of it wasn't that different. It was obviously the Warpedo, but I know he's very divisive. But yeah, Rayner and Bailey. Yeah, I don't know why.
Not a fan.
Nah, I just looked at their stats. I was more just looking stats wise, but yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Everyone froth Zach Bailey, and Rayner's obviously the number one pick, so it's fair enough. Did not know Fritsch was a mature ager.
Doesn't look it, does he?
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? No! Unbelievable! Balotelli! Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.